Alright everyone, welcome to Tuesday's video. Very happy Tuesday to you, if there is such a thing. The usual script for us today, a plethora of Celtic stories to get stuck in about and discuss as we continue to build ahead to Saturday's huge game against Hearts. I'll have no talk of derbies or that mob. It's all about Hearts, and we're 104 hours away at the time of this video going out. Just in case you needed to know. One thing I forgot to mention on yesterday's video when we kind of took a look at the general overall picture of the Scottish Premiership is that we play on Saturday against Hearts. We have a chance to go 6 points clear with victory on Saturday afternoon. Rangers don't play until Sunday lunchtime against Kilmarnock, so real opportunity for the team just to win that game and go 6 points clear and apply all of the pressure to our rivals. And we know what happens when you apply pressure to Rangers, eh? Right, let's discuss PFA Scotland's award nominees. 3 awards concerning Celtic. Well, actually only 2, but we'll get on to that. They were announced yesterday, and in order we have the Premiership Player of the Year nominees. 4 of them, as is always the case. Matt O'Reilly is Celtic's sole nominee in this, alongside Jack Butland and James Tavernier from Rangers and Lawrence Shankland from Hearts. In terms of the Young Player of the Year, no Celtic nominees here. We have David Watson from Kilmarnock, Lennon Miller from Motherwell, Lyle Cameron from Dundee and Ross McCausland from Rangers. A few players on there that I think we should have our eye on. Certainly, Watson and Miller have both had really good seasons. And you hear murmurings about them being Celtic fans, if that even matters. But both of them had really good seasons, done it in big games as well, done it against us. Watson scored at Celtic Park, didn't he? I remember Miller, I don't think Miller scored against us for Motherwell, but he did that really cool kind of turn for, was it Blair Spittle to score at Fir Park a couple of months ago against us. So these players have shown they can do it at a good level against, good teams. They're certainly 2 players I'd like us to keep an eye on. Although, I don't know, have the days of Celtic been able to sign the best young players from other Scottish teams gone? I feel like maybe the growth or the amounts of money that you get now down south, and not just in the Premier League, actually more so in the Championship and also leagues like Serie A, looking at some of this talent, means that maybe we might be priced out. But yeah, those are the players there. Finally, the SWPL Player of the Year, and Amy Gallagher is up for Celtic. You've also got Jorian Balcom from Hibs and Rangers pair Kirsty McLean and Rachel Rowe. Now, the winner for all of these awards and the various other ones that don't concern Celtic will be announced at the event this Sunday. Just going back to the Player of the Year for the Premiership. Yeah, interesting, we've only got 1 player up. I don't know if this will go down well on a Celtic YouTube channel, but I was kind of like a bit outraged when I first saw it, and I went, 1 out of 4 for the team that are leading the league and potentially looking, good for a double. Seems a bit outrageous. But then I kind of looked at the rest of the squad, the Celtic squad this is, and I must admit there was no one else that really jumped out as having had a brilliant season. I mean, that there's players who have become big for us in big moments, and Joe Hart's been one recently. But I guess there's just been so much hype about Jack Butland this season that it was always going to be him rather than Joe Hart. You're not going to have 2 keepers, I don't think, up for this award. A lot of players have had injuries this season. Cameron Carter-Vickers has had injury. Rio Hitati, those are guys you would normally expect to be in there, even though I don't think Carter-Vickers has ever been nominated as one of these 4 in any of his 3 seasons at Celtic, which is just outrageous. But I think this year, fair enough. Kyogo has not had as good a season as certainly last year. And yeah, trying to think, Callum McGregor, you wouldn't put him forward this season, would you? Alistair Johnson, no. Again, an injury for a fair part of the season. but he's not really hit the heights either. Greg Taylor hasn't been as good as last season. So it kind of, I don't know, it kind of tells you that we're maybe not had the best of seasons. I don't know, shock revelation, Celtic haven't had the best of seasons, yet we're still on for a double, and I still back the team to do that. Yeah, I guess this doesn't really matter. I mean, fans don't really care too much about this, but I just think it's interesting. Lawrence Shankland in there as well. I guess he's had a good season. I don't know who'll win it out of them. It's kind of been a bit of hype about all of them at one stage. I actually wouldn't be surprised if any of those four won it. I guess most seasons there's kind of like an obvious candidate. But, you know, Butland and Tavernier have been talked up so much this season in the media. O'Reilly was definitely the first half of the season. He was the outstanding player in Scotland. Not quite hit those levels consistently since Christmas. Still deserves to be there though. And, you know, Shankland is continually talked up. So I think that's going to be interesting on Sunday. I say that, I don't really care, to be honest. I'm not going to be getting up on Monday morning here in Melbourne and checking my phone right away. Who won that? Who won? Shaking and all that. Yeah, I don't really care. But I've managed to waste nearly 10 minutes of your time talking about it. Fabulous. Right, Matt O'Reilly was actually speaking at the PFA event, and I always enjoy listening to Matt O'Reilly. Not many footballers like him that kind of talk so openly and don't just give you the old tired cliches about, oh, we need to take the next game and all that stuff. And he actually tells you what he's thinking and what he's clearly thought about and thinks about the question. Anyway, I like this quote in particular from him on Brendan Rodgers and the tight title race that we are currently find ourselves in. You can tell he enjoys it. We get that feeling too. It's fun when it's close. I know what it's like from a fan's perspective, and I'd like it to be easy and 12 points clear. But when it's close, it brings out that extra fire and drive in everyone. It's also not being too invested in the noise around that. It can add pressure to myself and the team. It's about enjoying the ride and having fun. It's also about not getting ahead of ourselves. I'm sure people are thinking about Rangers, but that should be the last thing on our minds. Yeah, I just sense that certainly a few members of this Celtic squad are absolutely loving things being on a knife edge. Like, they're absolutely relishing and enjoying the pressure. And I think it's an interesting point he makes, and it applies to us as fans as well. And he obviously mentioned the fans there, but like, we always start out the season wanting to win the league. And obviously, if you offer any fan at the start of the season, you know, how many points do you win the league by, they're going to go as high as possible. And like, last season was amazing, just kind of being in no doubt all season, really. Certainly after beating Rangers 4-0 at Celtic Park last season, there was no real doubt about us winning the league from that point, because we had that lead. They started falling apart under Van Bronckhorst, and we just kind of surged on and never looked back, really. And it was great. It was a fabulous season. The team hit levels of consistency that I've, apart from the Invincible season, I've not really seen a Celtic team hit those kind of levels of performance week in, week out. It was a really impressive achievement from Ange Postecoglou and the team. But I'm genuinely, I'm actually, this is quite funny, because I'm actually now trying to remember, when did we actually win the league last season? Who did we beat to win the league? Yeah, Hearts away. It was Hearts away at Tynecastle. Pretty memorable day, amazing celebrations. Like, I'm not downplaying that at all. The point I'm making here is that I guarantee if you try and remember some of your most favourite Celtic title victories, they will be the ones that went down, if not right to the wire, they went pretty close, like the previous season under Postecoglou, and like 07-08, and ones earlier in the noughties. Those are the ones that you kind of tend to remember the most, and they stick with you the most. And I think we're on the verge of one here. If we manage to, finish the job here and win these however many games are needed to win the league, this is going to be one I think people remember more than last season, even though last season's league campaign was like so much better than this year. It's a funny kind of paradox of almost being too good and too far ahead of the rest makes it less memorable than when you're maybe not quite as good like this season and you make it interesting. I mean, I'm a firm believer of the theory that Rangers aren't actually that much better under Clement than they were under Michael Beale. If you look at the records from Beale coming in around the same time of the year, the previous year that Clement did this season, the records are very, very similar. Very impressive records against every other team bar Celtic. The difference this season is that we let Rangers back into the title race, whereas last year we just didn't at all. We were completely relentless. What am I trying to say? If we get over the line this season in the league, it'll be more memorable than last season, even though last season saw much better Celtic team play than this season. Yeah, kind of strange, but I think that's what O'Reilly's kind of alluding to there, that everyone's just that bit more, not switched on, but they're just feeling it that bit more because things are on such a knife edge, and they very much still are. I mean, there's only 3 points in it, but I just can't wait for this Saturday against Hearts. Huge match. This time last year it was kind of meaningless matches we were playing at this stage of the season, and we obviously dropped off and basically went on our holidays until the cup final. But yeah, can't wait for this Saturday. We'll return to that in a wee second. Other news, South Korea under-23 boss Hwang Sun-young has claimed Celtic, Brentford and Stoke City, weird collection of clubs, all went back on a promise to release their players for the under-23 Asian Cup earlier in April. Now, South Korea were knocked out at the quarterfinals of that competition. If they had been one of the top 3 teams in the tournament, so the finalists or the third best team in the tournament, they would have automatically qualified for the Olympics in Paris. They're now going to miss out on that, and Young is certainly not too happy about it. Now, he's, as I say, the under-23 boss. He's also the interim boss of the full South Korea team. Jurgen Klinsmann was sacked apparently pretty recently after they also performed poorly in the full Asian Cup. So yeah, Young not happy with Celtic. Not an ideal situation for him to be like that, but it's not really our issue either. The tournament didn't fall in an official FIFA window, so Celtic were under no obligation to actually release Yang. South Korea clearly haven't taken that well, but yeah, maybe if the tournament was happening next week or something, would be more likely to do that, given that Yang doesn't seem to have very much at this moment in time. But yeah, in terms of that, Celtic totally right. I doubt he'll be in the starting lineup for Saturday, Yang. We could have Maeda and Maeda back involved though. Now, on Friday, Brendan Rodgers did confirm that the rumours, the WhatsApp rumour, the WhatsApp whopper that didn't turn out to actually be a whopper about Maeda and Maeda was true, and that we are expecting him back before the end of the season. That seems very likely at this stage. Now, Rodgers was kind of not giving too much away, but he did say that Maeda would finish his rehabilitation early this week, and then he and the medical team would take it from there. So could we see Maeda back playing, even starting this Saturday? It's a possibility, I guess. I doubt he'll start, but Dyson Maeda's already shown remarkable powers of recovery, so all bets are off at this stage. But yeah, if he doesn't start, I'd be a fan of, I think, Forrest on the left, Kuhn on the right. I think that's the best of what we have at the moment. Another fitness issue at the moment is Callum McGregor. He started our last 2 matches. He came on as a sub in the 2 previous to that as well. He's clearly not been the Callum McGregor we all know and love. He's not hit that level in recent weeks. He seems to be playing, in my opinion, with some sort of knock. There's some sort of injury being managed there. That's just my opinion. As I say, that's not based on any, concrete evidence other than, what I'm seeing when he's playing. And he was asked about his fitness in a Sky Sports interview he did after the game on Sunday. McGregor quoted as saying, "I'm getting there all the time, so I'll just keep working hard this week and hopefully get more minutes next week. We'll just see how we go week by week, just keep trying to get fitter, pain-free and keep moving. See where we get to. I'm happy to be out there and help the team as much as I can." Now, the pain-free comment there, I think, is interesting. Maybe hints at him having had some sort of issue, although it is clear that he said pain-free. Again, he wasn't given much away there. My stance on this is, and it's probably a bit of a, sitting on the fence type answer, but I do just trust the manager and the captain to get this right. Obviously the medical team involved there as well, just to get this right. If McGregor needs minutes, give him minutes, get him starting again on Saturday, hopefully get him looking and feeling better ahead of the derby next week. However, if he's not ready, I think we do have Tomoki Iwata there who should be playing if Callum McGregor's not at the top level and not able to play at that top level. I think you can get away with it away to Dundee. No disrespect, Callum McGregor playing and getting overrun a bit in that midfield. I think at home to Hearts it's a different proposition. Certainly in the derby, you're not going to get away with a player not at their full capabilities in that midfield. So I think it's something Celtic really need to be looking at. But I'm sure they will be. I think McGregor will start. I just sense that's what's going to happen on Saturday. It would just be great if he could put in a better performance, obviously feel better, and then make us all feel a lot better about what's to come as well. As I said yesterday, it's 2 really big games, and I know we're just focusing on Hearts first, but we do have 2 games at Celtic Park, and if we win them both, the league title is pretty much confirmed to be, going to Celtic Park or staying at Celtic Park. That's how close we are at this stage. It's kind of like 1 big push or 2 big pushes to win the league, and having Callum McGregor as part of that team is obviously going to improve our chances immensely, but only if he's the fit and at his full capabilities. Yeah, it's one I think we'll hear about later on in the week from Brendan Rodgers, probably on the Maeda situation as well. And yeah, we'll continue the build up to Saturday's big match between now and kickoff. And by the way, you're now slightly less than 104 hours from kickoff, so I guess that's all good. Speak to you tomorrow.